Welcome to Real Talks with an Entrepreneur's Wife's podcast with Janelle. I'm Janelle, your sister, your friend, in this journey of being in a relationship with an entrepreneur. My husband and I have been married for nearly 20 years. And on this podcast, you'll hear stories from me, and you'll also hear conversations of me with other women as we share our experiences of being in a relationship with an entrepreneur. In these stories, you will hear our successes, you will hear our struggles, you will hear our triumphs and lessons that we've learned along the way so that you and I can both feel seen, heard, and understood. Thank you for joining us today. Now, let's get into the episode. So, y'all, I am so excited to share this revelation that I had, this discovery that I'm having. My husband and I have been going to counseling this time around for nearly 7 months. I want to ask this question. Is there any particular words or phrases that your husband or a significant other says that triggers you? The trigger might either rile you up or shut you down. I'm only going to talk about one of them today. And the reason why is because I have a revelation and I'm seeing myself and why he said those things, why he would say it. So anyway, the trigger phrase that I'm referring to is sometimes he'll say to me, "There you go, interrogating me again. There you go, interrogating me again." Now, for me, when he would say it, it confuses me. And the reason it confuses me is because my reference point of the word interrogation around something in the legal system where the law is trying to get to the bottom of something, or somebody's trying to get to the bottom of something. Maybe a crime has been committed or something of that nature. And now somebody's trying to get to the bottom of it. Either there's been some type of wrongdoing that somebody has done, and now they're being asked questions. And so that's where my point of reference comes from as it relates to interrogation. And so whenever he would say that to me, it would throw me off. It would confuse me. It would make me shut down sometimes. And sometimes I would argue back. I'll say it like that. I would argue back the point because, of course, I didn't feel like I was interrogating. And so what I realized is that my interrogation, as he would call it, was more so in situations where either I was trying to make a simple request or I was trying to get him to come to a revelation or some type of conclusion that he was not coming to. But anyhow, we've been going to counseling, and the counselor was talking to us about our ways of communicating. And what she said to me is that when I'm communicating with him, sometimes I use a lot of words. She said, it seems like sometimes you use a lot of words. It's like you're trying to build a case. Now, she said that, and I recall my husband had said that before as well. But when he would say it, it didn't make sense. Because what am I trying to build? You know, what was going in my mind? Again, my reference point to the term interrogation was something totally different from the situation that we were in or the discussion that we were in at the time. And so, like I said, the counselor, that was the explanation, or that was what she was talking to us about. And I started to see it. I realized that I don't do it just with him, that I do it and have done it with my son. One of the most recent situations that brought it to my mind was not long ago, we were preparing to go out of town. And we decided that we were going to rent a vehicle to drive for our trip. So my husband and my son went to the airport in order to rent a vehicle for us to go out of town. However, my husband went there with just his debit card, not knowing or not realizing that the car rental place was not going to rent to him with a debit card. He needed to have a credit card. So he called me up and said, Janelle, can you come to the airport and do this rental because they won't let me rent it with just a debit card. So I said, okay. So I went outside to get in his car to drive to the airport. But immediately I noticed that the car was on E. So I called my son up and I'm like, Jordan, have you left the airport yet? And he tells me, yes, he's left. And then my next question to him was, have you passed the ex-gym? Now, all the while, I already knew what it was I wanted from him. And what I wanted was for him to meet me at the Circle K so that we could swap cars and he would put gas in my husband's car and I would drive my car to the airport where my husband was. But I was asking all of these questions instead of simply getting to the point and just saying to him, Jordan, can you meet me at the Circle K so that we can swap cars and you put gas in this car because the car is on E? But no, no. I asked these extra useless questions, which, like my counselor said, I was building a case. And what I realized is that part of the reason why I do this, and I kind of question it, so I don't know if I fully come to a revelation with it, but it's coming. You know what I'm saying? It's coming. But a couple things came to me as I was thinking about this situation. And one thing came to me is that I'm asking these questions and building my case out of fear of rejection. And I say fear of rejection because if I ask the questions before making my request, then I can decide if I want to make the request or not. I thought about is that this is a display of my level of low self-esteem. Now, I do admit that I do have some self-esteem issues. I won't say it's low, but I do have some self-esteem issues. And so I feel like part of my building a case, which to my husband comes across as interrogating him, stems from those two things, but not just those two things. It's almost like it's covered up in a mask of being considerate of other people. But I'm not sure why that would even need to be a consideration in such a simple request. And so the fact that the counselor was able to help me to come to that and for me to now see myself in these situations has got me a little bit excited. And I'm excited because I'm now able to make those changes and understand where that comes from. So where I was feeling confused and taken back by the fact that my husband would ask me, why am I interrogating him? During times when I was simply trying to get to a request that I was trying to make of him, all while considering him, all while protecting my fear of rejection. Because I'm able to do something about that. I'm able to be more mindful of those situations. I'm able to see myself so that I can be more intentional. I can be more clear and direct in asking for what it is that I want. Just simply stating what it is, the revelation, the conclusion that I'm trying to help him to come to, or even my son or whoever I'm dealing with. So my question to you, does that resonate with you? Anybody ever asked you, or has your significant other ever asked you or made the statement that you were interrogating him? Now, I know there are situations where people really need to be interrogated when they're like not doing the right thing. Like, let's say if they are cheating or if they have not been truthful and you're trying to get to the bottom of it. I feel like those types of situations definitely could warrant interrogating. And in those situations, it would indeed be a matter of interrogating. But in the situation with my husband, in which I'm talking about at this moment, is in relation to me simply making a simple request, but I'm not getting to it. Or my son would say I'm beating around the bush. So I'm excited. I just have to share that with you. If you've ever been in that situation or you can relate, then let me know. Let me know what your thoughts are about that. Let me know what your thoughts are about that. Are there any trigger words? Are there any trigger words that your significant other might say to you sometimes that you're trying to understand? It's triggering and you're not really sure why it's triggering you. Let's have a conversation about it. But anyhow, I just want to thank y'all for this time. Thank y'all for listening. Thank you for, your being here in an attempt to make you better, in an attempt to feel seen, heard, and understood. Thank you for listening to me and providing this space so that I feel seen, heard, and understood. In future episodes, you can look forward to seeing conversations with me and other women as we share. If you have an experience, if you have had a journey or are on a journey and want to share your experience or share a story or a situation in which you think that other women can benefit from, then I invite you to be a part of the show. I invite you to be a part of the show. Let's have a conversation so that you feel seen, heard, and understood so that you can help other women. Please like, subscribe, and share this video. Share this podcast with 2 women that you know could benefit from the conversation. Again, you've been here spending time with me, Janelle, your sister, your friend, here with Real Talks with an Entrepreneur's Wife. And so effective communication is about clarity and confidence. Instead of overcomplicating our requests with unnecessary questions, we should focus on stating our needs directly. This not only saves us time, but it also fosters healthier relationships and clearer understanding in our interactions. Until next time, bye.